to vigorously enforce the Fair Housing Act. And I don't know how many of you saw the nomination hearing of Pastor Scott Turner. Yeah, you heard me. Pastor Scott Turner, who professes Christianity. Now, the last time I read the sacred text, it said, whatever you do to the least of these, my children, you've done it unto me. This pastor, he's aligning himself with a president who wants to eviscerate fair housing laws and turn his back on victims of discrimination. We cannot and we will not stand idly by while they attack our civil rights. We know that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And we're fighting. We will restore civil rights. We will strengthen and protect fair housing rights in the United States. And we are doing it because we must ensure a future where housing discrimination has no place in America.
Thank you. Yes. So we'll next hear from Congressman Cleaver.
I was raised in housing called public housing. And I am absolutely convinced that one of our number one needs right now is for us to rehabilitate and then build adequate housing for poor people. And that's why I will follow Maxine Waters in any battle, because I know she's going to battle to the end. My first time to preach was at the church of my mentor, Ralph David Abernathy, the West 100th Street Baptist Church in Atlanta. And I was nervous, just because I thought I'd mess up. And so one of my friends said, well, if you mess up the scripture, you keep saying it, and it'll come to you. And so I'm up walking on a chancellery that's up high, and there are people sitting down low. And so I started. I said, out of the book of Revelation, behold, I cometh, but I couldn't. Behold, I cometh, and it wasn't coming, right? Behold, I cometh. And in my obedience to the people who had told me to repeat it, they said, and then try to walk away, and people will think you're doing it deliberately. So I started walking. Behold, I cometh. Behold, I cometh. And then I tripped and fell right into the lap of a woman sitting right there in the front row. It's the older woman, she had all white on. And she said, baby, you told me you were coming, so I'm not mad. I should have moved. Let me make this clear. I grew up in public housing, a lot of stuff I can't pronounce correctly. And so when I think about what's going on here, I'm thinking that DOGE means Dodge. Dodge. Let the word go now. Behold, we cometh.
All right.
We cometh. We're going to dodge all of the attempts to mess with poor people. We're going to dodge all of the attempts to shut down civil rights. We're going to dodge all the dodging people who need to be dodged out of town. Behold, we cometh. Behold, we cometh. You better get ready. Behold, we coming.
Quickly.
Oh, we love a good sermon. All right, so next we're going to hear from, who is next? Congresswoman Tlaib.
Thank you so much. You know, I come from the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, the city of Detroit. And we know that transformative change and resistance comes from all of you, making our institutions and the White House move. We didn't get the Civil Rights Act because the President of the United States said it was the right thing to do. It's because you made made sure that we moved and made sure that it became law of the land, and we're still working on making it perfect. But you know what's interesting in being out there, and Stephen was next to me, you know, I said, you don't work for the American people. That's when he got upset. The guy got upset. I don't know who he is. They all don't look like, I don't know. They don't, it was so bizarre, right? It looked like bouncers. And he goes, yes, I do. And he didn't want to hear it. No, you work for Elon Musk. Get it straight. You don't work for the American people. Because if you did work for the American people, you wouldn't be in there trying to allow a dictatorship process come in here and take out housing. You know, housing is a human right. Everybody knows that. This housing crisis has been real from day one. I still remember Chairwoman, at the time she was Chairwoman Maxine Waters, just took away one ship. We could end homelessness in our country. But I keep thinking about the children. And you know, I get emotional about it because think about the babies. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. These folks don't care about these babies that are unhoused. You know, 180,000 of them sleep, homeless, unhoused. And I'm here to raise the voice of those folks because I kept saying to them, and they heard me, you don't care about the 2 children that froze to death in Detroit. You don't care that she called for help and couldn't get it. And then you let go of the HUD employee that oversaw the compliance of the Detroit Housing Commission. Literally the person that makes sure they're in compliance, that they make sure that their call gets answered. You let her go. You let Desmond go. After working so incredibly hard to make sure that we, the federal government, is making sure that they're in compliance. But I keep thinking of those babies. Do you know that the Williams mother was she kept apologizing to us. I'm sorry, I tried my best. She shouldn't be apologizing to us. We should be apologizing to her. And hearing her just tell her story of the baby, her 9-year-old that made her mother gone. All she was trying to do is make ends meet. She was trying her best. She got evicted out of nowhere. This building, this department is supposed to address the struggle and the crisis of what the Williams family went. What's going to happen for the next Williams family? We already know they're right now in need of us having oversight and making sure that we have the HUD employees in place to make sure that we're in compliance. Because I'll tell you, even well-intended, without the HUD employees, the tenants' rights are not protected. The rights around civil rights is not protected. The calls that I get constantly about, literally constantly about being unhoused or the fact that they don't have rights, this is where I call. I call HUD. And even if it's slow and it's hard and everything because it's messy, the fact of the matter is somebody's answering the phone. And right now, hundreds and hundreds of HUD employees have been let go illegally. And now I am petrified of what's going to happen with many of the families. You know, we used to have 70% home ownership in Detroit, but over 50% now is renters. Why? Because what Chairwoman Waters said. Because the private equity firms come in and they swallow it up and they increase the housing. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the lead. They don't care about compliance. They don't care. They just want to extract from our families. But I'm here to say to all of you, as many of my colleagues say, you all have the power to resist, and we're here to stand you. And I can tell you that over and over again, what I'm seeing is that the louder you all get, the more that you all resist this fascist regime, the more we can win and push back and get our government restored, because it's supposed to be working for the American people, not billionaires. Enough is enough.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Enough is enough. So we will next hear. Okay. So we'll now hear from Congressman Horsford from Las Vegas. Thank you.
I'm Congressman Stephen Horsford from Las Vegas. I'm here to join with Chairwoman Maxine Waters, the members of the Financial Services Committee, and members of Congress to tell Elon Musk, get your grubby hands off of our housing. I represent a district where 1 in 3 homes are owned by these corporate, greedy Wall Street hedge funds. 1 in 3. Last year alone, one company bought $1 billion of properties. They're driving up the cost of rent. They're making it harder for first-time home buyers or veterans to use their VA benefit. They're making it harder for families to own a part of the American dream. So while you all are working to build up our communities, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are tearing down our communities. And we're here to tell them, evict Elon. You want to evict somebody, evict his ass. We understand the pressures of homelessness and those who are unhoused. When rent goes up 30%, that forces out of their housing. It puts those children out on the street. It makes those who are most vulnerable, unemployed and struggling to get by. But we're here because we're not going to let them tear down our housing. They're not going to let us, we're not going to let them set us back. Because home ownership is also about closing the racial wealth gap in this country. And these are the members who have been fighting for that. Elon Musk and his hackers don't know shit about what it means to run a housing program. They don't know nothing what it means to go unhoused. And they don't know nothing about what it takes to pay a mortgage. So get out of the way and let us lead, because if you don't, the people will make sure you're held accountable.
That's right. Thank you, Congressman. We'll hear next from Congresswoman Beatty.
Good evening and thank you. It is such an honor for me to stand here with Chairwoman Waters and the other members of the Financial Services Committee. But I come today to first say thank you. Thank you to you for being out here, because we know that we are in the middle of a national crisis. Today is housing. Before it was Treasury. Then it was the CFPB. Where will they stop? Well, they won't. And that's where you come in. We are fighting so hard because of you. You make us understand that we must do more. And this is a part of our do more. But let me just tell you, this is very personal for me. My very first job, you know how proud you get to get that first job, that first paycheck. Well, my first job was with the Housing Authority. I was so excited that HUD had given me an opportunity as a young adult. And for more than 2 decades, I worked for HUD, making sure that people like us, people like all of us, members of Congress grew up in public housing. My relatives and family grew up in public housing. So we understand. We understand that we're not going to let them take our housing away. We understand that we already have an affordable housing crisis where people can't put a roof over their head. We understand if you don't know what HUD or public housing is, well, we're going to break it down for you. You understand when somebody puts your behind out. You understand when you get evicted. We're going to put it in the language. Well, by them taking away vouchers, they're evicting us. And we're not going to stand for it. You understand or know somebody that's on Section 8, or you may have a property that's on Section 8. So this involves both sides of it. And we're not going to stand for that. We already know that in some states we don't have enough vouchers, which means we can't put children and women and families together. That's why we're out here. So when people ask you, why are the members of Congress out there protesting? You tell them because we're standing with you, because we're not going to let Musk and Trump control our housing. We're not going to let Musk and Trump control us. So now people are calling saying, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We need you, first of all. We need you to make sure that you call them, that you write them, that you keep protesting them, because we're not going away as members of Congress. Congresswoman Waters sends out the message and we show up. We show up in our districts. We're going to show up tomorrow and we're going to show out as we tell them what we want. Every day, we're going to show out. And let me just tell you, they get elected. So you have a secret weapon. See, the more you protest and the more you call Republicans out. See, it's not just about Trump and Elon Musk. It's about those Republicans who aren't standing up for you. Well, see, Musk may be unelected, unvetted, but those Republicans are elected. So you have a secret weapon. So you need to tell those Republicans who aren't standing up to Musk and who aren't standing up to Trump that you're going to stand up to them. Let's make them scared. Let's make them scared, because your secret weapon is you voted. And you voted for many of us, and some voted for some of those Republicans because they made you promises. Well, let me just tell you, they lie. They lied just like Donald Trump. So we want Speaker Johnson to know. We want every Republican over there to know that we're coming after them. We are not just coming after Trump and Musk, because they took an oath to protect, to serve, to stand with us. So if they're not standing with us on housing, what more could we expect out of them? So I'm going to make you a promise. You come out here, I'm going to be out here with my colleagues. You say holler louder, I'm going to holler louder. You say hands off our affordable housing. You say housing is a human right. We see you, we hear you, we stand with you. And I can lastly tell you, I'm from the great state of Ohio in the Midwest. We don't have enough housing. And if they want to cut 50%, that's going to take away the jobs. So when you are trying to get your mortgage and going in and you want to tell them that you're getting ready to buy a home, we don't have workers there to serve you. When you come in to see about your Section 8 voucher, there's not going to be enough workers there to help you. When you come in for anything that you need, if they cut it, they're cutting workers, they're cutting jobs, and they're cutting the people who serve us. And that's what's so important today. So I'm going to end like I started. Thank you for being out here with us. Thank you for standing. See, we come to support you. We got something for Musk and Trump. We don't care about them, but we care about you. We're going to fight against them because we want to send them home, because they are protecting billionaires. They are giving cuts to the billionaires. And so our question is, what about the hard-working folks? What about the folks that are out here doing what's right? And so I want you to remember, we stand with you, and we're going to fight with you. And we're going to help you because we know this is our time. And get angry, I know. Be upset, I know. But I'm going to tell you, this too will pass. This too will pass because we're not going away. This too will pass because we're going to stand up against them. We're here to give you hope. See, you're not alone in this fight. We're bringing our anger. We're bringing our frustration. And we're standing with you because we know together, standing together, we can make the real difference that we need. We can take them on. It's just two of them. Come on, y'all. We know how to fight. We know how to get down in the mud a little bit. And when our families are at stake, we're going to fight harder. And that sign says, this is one of those moments in history. So I'm going to tell you, we need you. This is our moment. This is our time. Let's fight for public housing. Let's fight for affordable housing. Let's fight to tell Donald Trump and Elon Musk, we coming after them. Thank you. I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We will now hear from Congressman Davis.
Well, thank you very much. I'm Danny Kenyatta Davis, and I come from Chicago, Illinois. In Chicago, we call it the city of the big shoulders, meaning that our city is big enough, bold enough, and fights enough for affordable housing, for people with disabilities, for people who are homeless, for people who need a decent place in which to live. So Maxine Waters, Chairman Maxine, thank you for your leadership. Thank all of you who've come out. And as it was said earlier, we will fight till hell freezes over before we give up our houses.
Thank you. We'll next hear from Congressman Jackson.
Thank you so much. I'm Congressman Jackson from the great state of Illinois, 1st District. I want to thank Chairwoman Maxine Waters. Give her a loving round of applause. I want to thank all of my colleagues that have showed up and showed out today. I want to tell you what I just witnessed. As a member of Congress, I've tried to enter the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We were met there with nothing but a brutal set of police officers that got into an altercation with one of our members. Members of the United States House of Representatives on this day, March 3rd, 2025, led by our ranking member, Congresswoman Waters, was denied entrance into the Housing and Urban Development Department. So people are asking, what are we doing? We are showing up. We're standing up, fighting for you. And don't lose this moment in history. Anyone that was born after 1965, when we marched across the Selma and the Edmund Pettus Bridge, we're the first generation that has had equal rights after 346 years. Now, 60 years later, in this same week, as we're going back to Selma to go back over the bridge, our rights are being turned back around. They're trying to turn back the hands of time. Well, let me tell you something, Donald J. Trump. We're at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Don't you forget, you live in public housing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The White House is public housing, and we're not going back. Mr. Elon Musk, coming from South Africa, an Afrikaner, making all kind of salutes. We don't want to resegregate housing, unemployment in the United States of America. You can leave. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we're going to do this all the way to the end. Victory shall be ours.
Thank you, Congressman. We'll next hear from Donald Whitehead, who is the Executive Director of the National Coalition for the Homeless.
Good afternoon, and I want to thank you all for being here. And the reason we're here is because there's some people in the administration who are under some misconceptions. The misconceptions are that we are in the United States of Donald Trump. We are not in Donald Trump's America. We are in the United States of America. We will not let our country be taken. Last year, we saw an 18% increase in people living outside in America. An 18% increase. The year before, it was a 12% increase. Together, that's a 30% increase in people homeless in the United States of America, the richest country in the world. It is not okay. We cannot be satisfied with growing homelessness and a Secretary of HUD that doesn't understand that we can't survive with half of the staff of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We are here because they need to know that housing matters, that housing is a human right, that they need to keep their hands off of our public housing. We are here because the only way that we can do that is if we do that as a united force, because The people united can never be defeated. The people united can never be defeated. Housing is a human right. We are in the United States of America. We cannot let our country be taken. We don't have enough housing. We don't have enough dollars for housing. We have never had the dollars at the level of need in this country. We can't go backwards. This is not the time to cut back on housing. This is not the time to make people in this building homeless. A month ago, they had a job. Without any warning at all, those jobs were taken away. 50% of HUD's workforce. I get 100 calls today. People are wondering where they can get help for housing. That was before these proposed cuts. We cannot afford that to happen. What we have to do is continue to come out here. I thank the members of Congress. I hope you keep showing up. And I hope you make them let you into the building. You are the United States Congress. Nobody has a right to shut you out. Again, we live in the United States of America where the preamble to the Constitution is we have the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You cannot pursue happiness in an abandoned building. You can't pursue happiness in a car in the back seat. We have a country where babies are being born in American buildings, in abandoned buildings. We cannot stand for that. Please continue to come out. Please continue to demand that housing is a human right and hands off our housing. Thank you.
They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us. They're not like us.
They are not like us. Thank you, Congresswoman. So next we're going to hear from Congresswoman Takuda.
Aloha, everyone! I just flew 6,000 miles away, and the first place I landed was right here. Now, I know it's cold, and it's getting dark, but let me tell you something. As I look around at what I see here, you are the light. You are the light, and you are the hope. Today, something shameful happened. This building, look at this building here, my friends. This building was built on your backs. Taxpayer dollars. And to say a member of the United States Congress cannot enter to deliver the voice of millions of people that we represent from Vermont to Hawaii, that's shame. We gotta call their shame. I would not be here if my teenage parents didn't have Section 8. I would not be living in the house I live in if it wasn't for an affordable housing project. You know what HUD is? HUD is hope. It's more than a home. It's more than four walls. It is hope. So right now, look at this building. Right now, this building is holding hostage our HUD workers. Patriots. Patriots who need to be freed. Patriots who have been let go. Patriots in every one of our state who needs some aloha right now. So I want you to face this building, and I want you to tell them, we love HUD. 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 I don't care what DOGE thinks they're going to do, breaking down our housing, taking away our rights. We will stand between them and make sure everyone knows housing is a human right. Hands off our public housing. Get your fucking hands out of this building. Aloha.
All right. So we're now going to hear from Representative Balint.
Hi, I'm Becca Ballin. I represent the great state of Vermont. I'm so glad I went after Jill Takuda from Hawaii because we are like the bookends of the country. And we understand that homelessness and people who are struggling looks different in rural America. But I can tell you Vermont has one of the worst rates of homelessness in the nation. We have a terrible housing crisis. And I, like my colleague from Detroit earlier, I think about the kids. I was a teacher for years in 4 different rural public schools in Vermont. I know what it looks like when kids don't have a safe place to rest their head at night, when they don't know that they're going to be safe and secure in their housing. They can't bring their best to school. Of course they can't. They're exhausted. They're doing the best they can. Their parents are doing the best they can, but they don't have a fair shot. That's why we're out here today. We want to give every kid, no matter where they live, a fair shot. And HUD is a part of that. So look, you've been out here a long time. It's cold. And as Jill said, we can see the light. Here's the other thing that we see in all of you. We see the courage. Someone said, where is the courage? Where's the courage? We have the courage. Where is the courage? We have the courage. Where is the courage? We have the courage. And when we come together in solidarity and connection, we will not be defeated by a billionaire who has no idea what it is to try to make ends meet in this country. Do you know the other day, he called those who take advantage of federal programs, he called them parasites. Parasites. He called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. We make an oath behind us to the Constitution. That's right. And we do our jobs on behalf of millions of Americans who just want what they have coming to them, which is a fair shot. Thank you for being out here. You are the courage, and you give us all the inspiration to continue to fight with you. Together we will do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. So we're next going to hear from Rhoda Gibson, co-chair of the National ADAPT Housing Working Group.
Those are my wonderful adapters. You're screaming there. Maxine Waters, thank you so much, and we are so honored to be here because you have been with us and working with us since 2017. Since 2017, she has been with us. And we're here today to speak on and agree with everything Maxine Waters and everyone else up here has said. But today, especially this year, 2025, National ADAPT is all about the keys to community living. Housing, services, wages. Without housing, all of us here, we couldn't live in the community. We have brothers and sisters that are incarcerated in nursing homes and facilities because people think we're not worth it. That we don't do anything but lay in the freaking bed. No, we do more than that. We have people here from Philadelphia, from Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, from Minnesota, and where else? Oh, Boston, where I'm from, I forgot. But the keys to